I'm here with Che, visiting from Chicago, to London for this. Well, I can't say he come for this particular event, the Rebirth of Griot, which is a special Black History Month special, and Che turned up, and it's the only event that he found, scouring, looking for a Black History Month event, and he found the Rebirth of the Griot, the African origin of performance. And I just want to ask you about the difference stateside in the United States between Black History Month in the United States, because I think it's held in February, and London, because I know this is the first event you've been to since you've been here. But give us a little insight into what it's like in the United States.
Well, first I'll tell you about what I like about or love about what you're doing here. Mm-hmm. And what I love about what you're doing here is that it's not Black American History Month or British Black History Month, it's Black History Month. So in America, we tend to focus on Black Americans. But if you focus on Black Americans, what I've been learning is you only have a third of the story, not even half of it. Mm-hmm. And so when I come here and you can, hear the comedian doing patois.
I say what a climate it is right now in this England time, Things kinda, it nice, it mellow, but it kinda upside it down, don't it?
and talking about Caribbean culture, and everyone understands and everyone knows the jokes, and I'm like, wow, what is what is Caribbean culture? What is West Indian culture? And then you see the griot story.
So in a place far from here, but near to there was a hunter, and the hunter was walking through the bush with his bow and arrow set. Every sound he heard, he looked ready to fire, ready to let loose. And then he heard something that made him stop. Picked up his bow, he said, what in be that?
And now you're learning, and you talk to people and they say, oh, I'm Yoruba, Now I'm like, wow, in America, we focus on traditional commercialized leadership. And it makes me realize that even the great leaders in Black history have been co-opted by corporate interests that are teaching, that are confusing Black Americans even further to some degree, because it's not expanding the diaspora.
So
if that makes sense.
Yeah, how does that impact or affect the importance of Black history in the United States, and what the month represents? Because what does it really represent there? If what you're saying it's corporized, it's insular, in that the Black Americans only look at themselves, what impact do you think that have?
I want to be careful to say that this isn't the way all Black Americans celebrate the history. Right. It is the way it is presented. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And for those who take it as it is presented, there may be confusion. Right. There are God's people exist everywhere. So there are authentic ways for people who are wiser, that know more. Yes. And these are in corners where you have to find.
Do you have a personal view on how you think it should be presented, Black History Month in America? What's your personal take on it?
I want to come back to what you all did here tonight.
Right, okay, then. Go ahead.
To answer your question, it should be presented like this. Right. In communities, in villages, in small no more than 50 people, no more than 60 people.
Yeah.
Because in that way, the children can really learn.
Yes.
We cannot learn with these big assemblies. You know what I mean? That is a show. That is entertainment.
Yeah.
Tonight was a gathering.
Yeah.
And
Village.
and a village. And to me, the only way we can really learn our traditions is in a village form. And so when I see where you're doing it, how you're doing it, you know, there are no windows to look out of. So you are concentrated on the spirit that is in the room. In my experience, it has to be a spiritual exercise and not a mental one.
Right. So my final question is, what would you take away from the event?
I never heard of griot culture.
Right.
You know, people, if I ask you, where's your mother from?
Barbados.
Barbados. Ask me where my mother is from.
Where's your mother's from?
St. Louis.
I see. It's that connection. It's reaching back. Yeah.
Come on, man.
Closer to the culture.
You know, I'm 41 years old, still learning about who I am. And this is a waste of time when we could be taking gold out of the earth. Like, you know what I mean? The difference between an African and an African American, with education,
Right.
because without education, we're all equal.
Yeah.
But with education, the African with education is coming and he wants to be a doctor to go home to figure out how to. The African American spends a long time trying to figure out who he is. And by the time we figure out who we are,
Time is gone. Time is gone.
so for me, it was important to come here because the only way we can correct this is to connect globally. And for me to give you some of what the white man gave to us, and for you to give me some more of my African back. And when we do that, we can turn him into a baby again.
Yes, my name is James B, also known as Button B from SLR Radio. I'm interviewing Jay from Chicago. I want to thank you for.
Oh man, thank you for the love and the family.
Thank you very much. Thank
Love.
you.